Next chapter is the Detroit Lions, as you mentioned there, and you also have, another trying time. You guys go 0-16.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what lessons did you take away from that season?
Yeah.
And also your time in the Detroit era?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is I got to spend 2 years with Mike Martz, and one of the all-time offensive geniuses that you could ever be around. And somebody that I consider like a second father to me, and that I still stay in touch with now and have a great relationship with. They fired him after the second year, mainly because he was outspoken against things that weren't right, that we were doing organizationally that aren't right, and that weren't giving us a chance to be consistently successful. And he spoke up against those things, and so they fired him. They ran him out of town. And we didn't necessarily hire anybody to replace him. We just kind of moved forward. Well, you went from a genius to good coaches, but things weren't computing. And I was only healthy for 4 games. They put me on injury reserve after 4 games and basically banished me from the facility, so I wasn't around, because I was saying the same things that Mike was saying, like, this isn't right. But sometimes when you are that person and you reject passivity, as I try to train my young men, you reject passivity against things that aren't right, people are going to run you out of town. And 0-16 was a result of that.
Is there any, as you look back on it, is there any regret of that era?
No. See, people ask me that all the time about Detroit. That had to be terrible. Let me tell you what wasn't terrible. In those 2 years and 4 games, I was roughly there 3 years, we saw 39 people give their life to Christ and get baptized in that locker room. Either players or their significant others give their life to Christ. And we saw marriages totally revamped. I still have great friendships with guys from there. And the football thing, man, 2007, we're rolling. We're 6-2. We're 6-2. And the bottom falls out, because, to be honest, our staff couldn't get along. People were against Mike and they couldn't get along. And that's what happens. We were rolling. Calvin is going great. Roy Williams is going great. Mike Furry's going great. Kevin Jones is running great. Our offensive line is playing great. Sean Rogers is, at the halfway point going to be the defensive player of the year. We're rolling. But our staff couldn't get along, and our season went in the tank.